Hello, students. Welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. I am your teacher, Mr. Stanley Ombogo. So, dear students, previously we looked at an introduction to oral literature. And in the introduction, uh, we learned that in oral literature, we have got different genres, that is, different oral literature materials that we were also able to further categorize into two. That was the long genres in oral literature, and again the short genres. So we said that the difference between the long genres and the short genres is that the long genres uh, take, a lengthy time. That is, it takes a longer duration of time to perform. So these are narratives or stories, for example. So talking about the short genres, we say that short genres are also referred to as the short forms because they take, a short duration of time to perform. That is, they are brief. So in this video, dear students, I'd like to take you through uh, you know, uh, uh, one of the genres that we have in oral literature, and that is oral narratives. So under oral narratives, we are going to focus on dilemma narratives. That is, getting to know what dilemma narratives are, and possibly look at an example. Then use the example to again look at some of the features of dilemma narrative or dilemma stories. uh, then lastly, look at uh, the what? That is the function of this genre of oral literature. And maybe we'll also look at the target audience. Now, talking about dilemma stories, dear students, a dilemma story is a story that shows a character or group of characters faced with two or more alternatives, none of which is easy to make. So when we talk about that is a character being faced with two or more alternatives, uh, or none of which is easy to make, dear students, it simply means that uh, the choices that we have here are difficult ones. So in most cases, you have to think critically before making a decision. So these are kind of choices, dear students, are usually of moral nature. And again, they seem to, um, to be equally good or bad, depending on, the decision that you will make. So it introduces, a conflicting situation that arises for a character to choose from. So a dilemma story, another thing is that a dilemma story, dear students, is a morally ambiguous story, thus allows the audience to comment or speculate upon the correct solution to the problem posed in the story. So a dilemma story has a perplexing situation which presents different possibilities, and both of them seem practically acceptable. So such a story is meant to initiate critical judgment and debate among the audience. Maybe just to give you an example, dear students. So a classic example in Africa is the story of a great drought. That is a great drought upon which the oracle ordains human sacrifice be made. So the victim is usually the most beautiful girl in the village. So her family is torn between heeding the oracle's word and declining, which would mean that the society perishes. There is a conflict between the love of the parents for their daughter and the loyalty to the society. So that's a perfect example. So there is a drought, and the oracles have ordained a human sacrifice. So they have chosen a beautiful daughter. So the parents to that girl, the parents to that girl are now having a conflict between that is whether they should give away their daughter for the sacrifices and save the community, or save their daughter and let the community perish. So that is what a dilemma narratives. So how about we look at some of the features of these narratives. So dear students, some of the features of dilemma narratives are as follows. So to begin with, these narratives introduce to the audience the situation or conflict with two or more options to choose from, none of which is easy. So another thing is that the decisions made often fall short of expectations. Then again, we are told that the state of affairs presented in these narratives usually requires passing moral or ethical judgment, and that is why we talked about the choices are made being usually of moral nature and seem equally good or bad. So another thing is that these narratives encourage debate among listeners, because the narrator poses a question to be debated at the end of the session. So another important feature to note is that dilemma narratives develop ability to assess situations or circumstances shrewdly and draw sound conclusions. So they also are mostly of interest to adults, since they have to make difficult choices in life. Uh, Another feature that we can also not forget to mention is that most dilemma stories end in suspense. That is, the audience is left to speculate the possible resolution of the conflict. So they will be left wondering with, the kind of choice, that is, which choice uh, a character will make in the story. So the target audience of dilemma narratives are the young people who are being prepared to make important decisions in future. So young people are the first target audience of these narratives. So another target audience of dilemma narratives are the leaders who have to choose between two or more competing interests. So another thing is that generally these narratives target all members of the community with the aim of imparting acceptable moral values. So, dear students, some of the functions of dilemma narratives that we have uh, is that number one, dilemma gives the audience an insight into characters' lives. That is, when you are reading these narratives or when you are listening, let me talk about listening, because we are talking about genres of oral narratives. So when you are listening to these narratives, so as a member of you know uh, the audience, as a member of the audience, you are given an insight, or you get an insight of the characters' lives. That is based on the kind of the decisions that they will eventually make. So another function is that the narratives foster good judgment, and we also told that they promote the spirit of debate among listeners. They also promote a spirit of debate among listeners. Remember when we were looking at the features, we said that one of the features is that these narratives encourage a debate among listeners. So under the functions, they also promote the spirit of debate among listeners. So lastly, dear students, dilemma narratives instill moral values. So that marks the end of this session, and thank you for keeping it easy, Limu. Until next time, bye.